How has Steve Harvey inspired you?
First of all, Steve Harvey is a personal supporter of mine. And I don't think enough is said about how important black media is. We just had a huge victory in terms of the officers being charged, several of them, for killing Breonna Taylor. And it was when we were living in Louisville, Kentucky, and the CNNs and others had gone on, that Steve Harvey kept us on his social media, he kept us on the internet, he kept us on his radio shows, and he sent money. And it is in those situations where you realize that we are the only ones that are really going to invest in us. And his support for me has been not just inspirational, but necessary, critical, you know.
Honestly, Steve Harvey inspired my shape up. Like, Steve Harvey made me want a crisp lineup. And then when I looked into how sharp his lineup was, my barber loves me. I would not come here without a haircut. So then when I realized all the other businesses and all the other ways of income that he was making, I just started to really, admire and respect what he was doing.
Obviously, it seems fast from the outside, but it's like you look at his stories, like there was challenges in between, there was things that he went through, but he still found a way to be able to navigate it. And I think more so than anything, I think that's what a lot of people can take from it. It's like, listen, you can start out behind, you can start out not having the most, but if you work on your craft, you continue to develop yourself. And then when you have challenges, you learn how to face them, how to get through them, then you can still come out on top.
So the best advice that my father's given me, he's given me so many gems. Y'all hear him all the time dropping motivation and goodness. But the best advice that he's given me was to be a light. He said this after a meeting in Botswana one time. He saw my facial reactions kind of twisting at some things that some people said. But he always reminded me, like, when you step into these rooms, you're to be a light. You got to shine your light. You got to project that on everybody because it's infectious, right? If you look at light sources, you look at fire, it could tear things down. It could heat up a room, but you feel it. So be a light, and I appreciate him for that.
The best piece of advice that my dad has ever given me is just to keep planting the seeds. That hard work is going to pay off. You just got to keep doing it, keep staying at it, keep being faithful to it every single day. That's the only piece of advice I think anybody needs to be successful. It's the day in, day out. Can you be consistently faithful? That's it. Y'all, I love y'all. Peace.
So a key piece of advice that my father has, passed down to me is really just more of a word. And the word is sacrifice. I think that when you want to get to where you're going, you've got goals you're trying to accomplish, a lot of you got to sacrifice, sleep, friendships, relationships, that trip you want to go on with friends. In the moment, it's going to seem like, the most daunting task to make that sacrifice, but overall, it's definitely going to pay off in the future, and it's just something that's kind of, taught me to keep going. Just because there's a sacrifice doesn't mean there's not a reason for it.
So the best advice that my dad has given me is don't be afraid to fail because sometimes your best lessons will come from your failures.